Anyway, let's go out on a slightly more sadder note and serious note tonight. Last Sunday, the Fitzroy Billy Webster died. He was 83 or 84, I think, and he had been associated with the South London Boxing Club for over 60 years, 7 decades. I worked it out as. Now, as a boxer in the 50s, then as a trainer since the late 50s, early 60s. It's impossible to put a figure on the amount of boxers he influenced. How do you calculate 3 nights each week in the gym pack with 30, 40, 50 or 60 boxers for about 50 years? How do you do the sums on that? It gets stupid in the end. Anyway, Billy was a quiet legend, a ring genius, and he touched some of British boxing's greats, both amateur and professional fighters. Neville and Eamon Cole and their ABA titles in the early 60s and early 70s. Cornelius Bozer Edwards, who still wanted Bill to train him when he was defending and fighting for world titles in Las Vegas. Unbelievable stuff. Thousands of nights and thousands of boxers. He actually shaped David Hay, by the way. Now, somebody posted something on a website about how Billy was an unsung hero, and somebody responded the next second with, unsung hero, not in my house. Every time I sit down with my family to eat, I praise him for what he did for me. He saved me. He's not an unsung hero in my house, and I completely agree with that guy, whoever posted that. I forget who it was. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I went down to see Billy at Farnborough Hospital. I was there when Wally Anglish, Ron Bodie, Gary and Jimmy Cable showed up. There's a lot of bulk, you know what I'm saying? A lot of big old lumps there, a lot of flat noses, and a couple of them were fairly dapper dressers, especially Wally, who runs a gentleman's club out in Twickenham, one of the best out in Twickenham, so I'm told. Now, as I was leaving, one of the nurses pulled me aside and asked me, she said to me, she said, who exactly is this William Webster? Who is he? She asked. I laughed. It's just that, she continued. Every day, loads of, well, tough-looking men come in and sit down with him, and they all end up crying when they leave, she told me. Anyway, I laughed again, wiping a tear. And she said, was he a tough man? And I laughed again. I said, well, let me put it this way, darling. He certainly made the tough men, I told her, and she seemed happy with that. Whew. Now, just quickly, before we go tonight, I'm going to speak to Grant Davis, cab driver, former fighter, and constant visitor to Billy's bedside during the last few days. Granty.
How are you, Steve?
Yeah, not bad, son, not bad. Granty, when did you see Bill last?
I was there the day that you came after me, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, it's all very sad. I think, like you touched on, he touched every fighter that went through the lodge. Whether he's a world champion like David or a good club boy like myself, he left a lasting impression. You know, but one story, Steve.
Go on, Bill. Go on.
That he always used to tell us to make us laugh in the dressing room was we used to have a heavyweight years ago called Howard Rainey.
Yeah, Big Howard.
Howard.
His wife just texted me now. She said, I'm in tears listening.
Yeah, well, if he's listening, Howard will laugh to this. He was a big fella.
He was a big lump.
But he had a sort of problem with the confidence stake, shall we say.
Yeah, not his heart, just confidence.
No, it's the confidence. And, you know, confidence is about 80%, I think, of a fighter.
Yeah, when you're a big lump, it's 95%.
So what Billy done, he got a Smartie, sucked the colour off it, called Howard in and took him into the toilet and said, Howard, don't let anyone see this. Take this. I got it off the doctor. It's going to make you faster, increase your blood flow, all that old spiel, yeah?
Yeah.
He took it. 5 minutes later, Bill took him on the pads and he said, whoa, Bill, all right, feel it now, I feel it now. And he's gone out and done the fella in about the second round, come back, and Bill kept saying the biggest problem he had was every week Howard was coming to him in the gym and saying, here, Billy, have you got any more of those tablets? They were fun-dubby-doozy.
Howard Rainey, by the way, is from Yorkshire, and that is a correct that's the correct impersonation of his accent. Listen, the funeral's next. I'm going to get the details next week. The funeral's next Friday. I'm expecting there'll be a big old turnout.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll go there, Stevie.
Yeah, we certainly will. We'll certainly have a quiet drink. Listen, Granny, I'm going to cut you off there because I've got to move on. But it's been great talking to you for a few minutes.
Bye, Stevie.
See you soon, Granny. That's Grant Davis, cab driver, friend of the show, former amateur boxer with Billy Webster, Mick Carney Lodge. Billy Webster, who died 83 or 84 last week after a lifetime. 7 decades of being involved with an amateur boxing club. Never honoured, never paid. That's commitment, isn't it? I come in here once a week, I get handsomely paid. And I sit down in this chair, and after 7 years, I feel like a veteran. Imagine if you went to an amateur boxing club for 7 decades, 3 days a week, 2 hours a night. Hey. They should get accolades, shouldn't they? People like that.